As a producer and digital media professional, Andy Schwartz was a fixture in Philadelphia sports for more than 2 decades. But Maccabi Media's newest mentor can trace the roots of his career back to one moment, seeing his name in print for the first time. As a senior, he wrote a baseball article for his Cheltenham High School newspaper.
I remember seeing the byline by Andy Schwartz, and I was like, oh, that's cool.
That early taste of sports journalism ignited a fire that Andy carried with him to Colgate University. While he excelled as a student and also played high school baseball, competing at the Division I level proved to be a bit more challenging.
I remember they threw sliders in a scrimmage against Syracuse, his club team, and I'm like, okay, they didn't have those in high school, I'm in trouble. So when I got cut, I went right to the newspaper office because I remembered what I wrote in high school, and I joined the newspaper, and that's how I got started as a writer.
Undeterred, Andy turned his focus to his writing skills, launching a career that landed him at ESPN right out of college. He eventually returned home to Philadelphia to help launch the city's first all-sports station, Comcast Sportsnet, which later became known as NBC Sports Philadelphia.
I would never trade any. It was to get to cover, like I said, the Super Bowl and the Final Four, the NBA Finals and Phillies games, everything was unforgettable.
At Comcast Sportsnet, Andy eventually became managing editor for the network's website. Starting from the ground floor, Andy had to adapt as the industry transitioned from the traditional broadcast model to the ever-evolving world of the internet.
There's so many different things between working with the TV staff and covering sports in an age where the internet, again, everyone was learning what it was and what it was capable of, and learning basic website programming. All that stuff was such a challenge, but it was great. It was very cool.
After nearly 30 years in sports media, just 3 years ago, Andy found himself ready for a new challenge: healthcare advertising.
All good things come to an end, and there were times where I'm like, okay, what's next? Knowing the skills are transferable to do something totally different I'm just as proud of because I had no idea. It was actually a former intern of mine from Comcast Sportsnet who had joined the healthcare advertising field, called me one day when I was at the morning call in Allentown, newspaper in Allentown, and he's like, hey, I have a job for you if you want to change careers.
While Andy misses the adrenaline rush of covering the pros, his new role offers a better work-life balance, allowing him to spend more time with his 11-year-old son, Alex.
It's much easier to be a dad when I tell everyone. Like I miss the sports and the rush of journalism and talking, writing about sports all the time. But the schedule's a little easier now, things like that.
Andy is eager to share his knowledge with the next generation of sports storytellers, as a media mentor for 8 aspiring Jewish journalists traveling to London this summer to cover the European Maccabi Youth Games.
But I'd been involved in Maccabi before as an assistant basketball coach for JCC Maccabi Games, and that was a great experience. So it's not something brand new to me. Like I said, I've been doing pharma for a while, so it's nice to kind of dust off that hat and put it back on, and get back into the sports journalism field again.
From seeing his first byline to guiding sports writers on the international stage, Andy is finding gratification in his new career and enjoying this chapter of his life. For Maccabi Media, I'm Tyler Jacobson.